What is up, everyone? Incente here, and it's pretty late. It's like midnight, but I got inspired to do a video, so we're just gonna roll with it. This is the first in a new video series I want to make called Off the Grid, where we talk about Go, but it's not just about learning Go. It could be about different moves, pro events, things happening in tournaments in the Go world, new streamers, really anything that comes to mind. And I want this to be very community-centered. So I'll be featuring a lot of questions, discussions that my supporters have asked, and give a way for viewers and Go fans alike to talk about something besides what Joseki to play. And for this first episode, I have a really exciting topic, and this was brought to me by a viewer of my channel. Really great question, and I'm just gonna read this to you right now. I've started watching some of your videos and really like them. Could you share how to deal with online versus in-person games? I really struggle with online games and would love to know how to make that work. A few days ago, I wrote a more detailed question here, and links to a Reddit post. I'll put that link in the description below. But it's really just talking about dissatisfaction with playing online games, how you don't focus as well, it's harder to play quality moves like it is in real life, and what we can do to try to stop that. And first off, I want to thank Icy Poi so much for the question. I think it's an incredibly common experience. You're definitely not alone, because I felt that same way. Playing Go in real life always elicits my best work. I read more, I look at the game more deeply. I might not get a better record, because also my opponent is probably playing their best, but I feel more satisfied with the games that I play. Whereas online, I click very fast, I sometimes don't think about my moves. Rarely do I read to the same depth. The way I sort of see it is I sort of look at real life versus online games sort of like a really good book versus a BuzzFeed article. Like, if I have a really good, nice book in front of me, I'm probably gonna take more time reading through that. It might be harder to focus, but if I'm driven enough, I will read that and learn a lot. With online games, they're so plentiful and there's so many happening at once, and you can just hop on a game with any random person anytime you want, that for me, psychologically, there's a little bit of a shallower context to online games. Even though there are some people that I've seen on Reddit that they don't really see a difference between online and board for them. It's kind of the same. I do see a lot of people tend to have these feelings, and this extends to other board games like chess. All this to say, I absolutely empathize with how you're feeling. And so the question that we all sort of want to think about is, how do we move past this? Can we still play quality games to the level of the board? So there's a few basic strategies that I've employed that have helped me stay present in my games. I think the first and most important strategy that I found is to play against people you know. And I can't actually stress how important that is, for me anyway. Because when you play against somebody you know, there's a level of respect there, and there's a level of presence and community that you get with that game that I just don't feel when I'm playing a random tie gem game. I don't even know if they're cheating. They could be using a bot for all I know. They could be a bot. I don't know. And that's sort of just thousands of people online and get a game anytime you want, for me, devalues it. And I play so much better Go when I'm playing with my friends. So, that being said, if you can find a community, a smaller community within Go that you can play with and you can make relations with and have friends and have a rival, that will do you the best. Get a rival, honestly. If you want to play really good games, get someone who you have the same level of skill against, and you lose a frustratingly large amount of the time, but you think you can beat them, and you do sometimes. There's a reason that Akira and Hikaru were such good rivals. It's because rivals, for me, are a huge motivating force. In my Patreon's Discord, link in the description below, by the way, I have a player, Noah, and I consider him my rival. I don't know if he considers me his rival, but I think he's my rival. We've played a lot of games together, and it's always neck and neck, and sometimes it's a blowout, but sometimes I come back and win, and it's really exciting. And I always play my best Go with him on the other side of the board. Of course, since it's the pandemic, a lot of real life play is kind of dying. So online communities are kind of the only place we got right now until things open back up again. But even if you can't find an online community, strike up a conversation with someone you play online at OGS. Say, hey, would you like to play again? What's your name? What are you all about? Like, this was a great game. What do you think about this move? Be proactive in talking after the game, and you might find that you've made a friend. The second thing I would recommend is to play your games, and between every move, have your hands under your butt, just like this. Sit on them, keep them away from your mouse. Do not touch your mouse in between moves. Cross them, sit on them, whatever. Lock them in a closet. I don't know what you do. Do whatever you want. But the act of locking your hands away keeps your mouse from hovering over options, hovering over where you'll probably play. I can't tell you how many times I've hovered over a potential move that I wanted to play and my opponent played a move I didn't expect. And I just played the original move anyway because I was already mentally so invested in that move. Highly recommend keeping your hand off the mouse, and do not touch the mouse until you are sure that that move that you think about in your head is the right move. The other thing that Internet Go really makes us worse at is reading, because when we have a mouse, we're dragging our mouse over the spots to map out sequences. I do this all the time in stream. As I move my mouse, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here, 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 and I have that cursor going. And that helps with visualization, but it makes your reading worse because you have a crutch. Making sure that your mouse and your hands are inactive while you're thinking ensures that you are reading with no help from technology, and you'll probably read better and feel better about your games. I've seen the suggestion of copying your moves on a real board. So every time you play, getting out a real board and replaying what you're doing and making a move on the real board first and then going online. I think that in theory could be great, but your time settings need to be really long. The issue with that is that you spend so much time copying and like playing moves, those extra couple seconds here and there. When you start getting low on time, you just have to switch back to network mode, and then you're all flustered and you might take longer and burn up your time. So that's a strategy that could work, but I would be careful about it because the time pressure can be real. So yeah, get friends, play, sitting on your hands, replay the board. Are there any other strategies that we can employ? Another idea could be setting variation limits. So let's say you think of the best move. You can make a rule for yourself before the game starts that you're going to read out at least 3 variations, a couple moves deep, for every single one of your moves. That way it can force you to, even if it's a no-brainer move, reading out just a few variations of if you tanuki'd, if you hana'd, if you did this instead, and confirming to yourself that indeed your move is better. Not only will it help your reading, but it will reinforce your instinct, which is always a great idea in Go. And sort of to wrap things up here, I want to just make sure that we're all aware that your win rate is not indicative of how good of a game you played. Some of my greatest games, in fact, most of my greatest games, have been losses. Sure, some of my most triumphant games have been great, but the games where I've learned a lot and feel like I've really laid it all on the line and bared my entire soul on the board were games I've lost. And those can be a really great catalyst for growth. So don't get discouraged if you find you're losing more of your online games than your in-person games. It could be that maybe your in-person Go group, they don't have as strong players as you can find online. That's also possible. So judge the quality of a game by how good you felt playing it and how much reading you did, not by the win rate. So just to recap, get friends, sit on your hands. If time allows, play on a real board. Set aside variation limits that you want to read out beforehand. And don't worry about losing. Only worry about the quality of your games. That's way easier said than done. And I am by no means good at that. But I do know that is what you need to do. Unfortunately, frustratingly. But I want to hear from you all. What strategies have you implemented to help you get the most out of your games and online play? Does streaming help for some people? Does playing with an audience improve performance? I want to know your thoughts, and I want to know your thoughts on the methods that I've described. So I hope this helped the question, and I hope this was a good kickoff to our first episode of Off the Grid. If you enjoy this, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Go is a wonderful game, and I hope you get as much fun out of watching my videos as I get out of making them. And yeah, tweet at me at @in_sente. Any other questions you might have, comment on this video. I want to do more of these and show that Go is more than just the rules in a game. It's a whole culture and an entire community behind it. So I want to take this video series to really highlight that. That being said, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope that you stay safe. Please stay safe for Thanksgiving. If you can do video chat, please do so. Let's all get through this together. And have a wonderful week and holidays, and I will see you all on the grid. Bye.